All right, looks like we're good.
Yes.
We're ready to start. Okay. All right. Well, good. Well, I guess it's afternoon now, everybody. Welcome to the Whatcom County Fire Protection District 4 Board of Commissioners meeting for May 13th, 2024. We'll start with a call to order. So I'll call this meeting to order and we'll do the roll call. My name's Steve Cooley. I'm a commissioner.
Tim Johnson, Commissioner.
Mark Land, Commissioner.
Jason Vanderveen, Fire Chief.
All right. That brings us to the public comment period. Chief, do we have anybody waiting to comment?
No, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, then I will open the public comment period and then close it. Moving on to the next agenda item, which is approval of the consent agenda. All matters within the consent agenda have been distributed to each member of the Board of Commissioners for review, are considered routine, and will be enacted by one motion of the board with no separate discussion. If a separate discussion is desired, that item may be removed from the consent agenda and placed on the regular agenda by request. And our consent agenda today includes the meeting minutes from our meeting on April 15th, the staff reports that the chief provides us, financial reports, vouchers, payroll, and benefits. And those indicate that this month our district deposit payroll was $483, and our monthly expenditure voucher totaled $2,000, and that was a single payment, it looked like, to our portion of the Liz Loomis Associates bill. Jessica has our total expenditures then listed at $2,483. She sent a note I saw in our packet that she was not able, due to some change that the county made, she was not able to reconcile our revenue. And so she directed us to another source. So I'm assuming that will be in our next month's meetings, perhaps, that she'll catch up with that.
The reconciled numbers will be in next month's meeting packet, yes. But she did provide the county treasurer receipt, so you can see funds that have been deposited.
Yes. Yeah, it looks like we got a bunch of our April tax revenue. It looks like on that. Yeah. So that's the consent agenda. Let's see. Yeah, so I will entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
So move.
Sounds like Commissioner Johnson moves.
Second.
And Commissioner Land seconds. Any further discussion on the consent agenda? All right, so we will vote on approval of the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
There we go. Okay, so motion carries 3-0. Consent agenda is approved. Okay, moving to unfinished business. First thing on our list here is our purchasing policy. The chief and I did meet last week and go over that. We found two typos, one which was insignificant and one was just some transposed numbers. So we fixed that. But other than that, I'm satisfied that we've got a good policy. And I would note that the same policy is already in effect for District 21. So any discussion or questions on the purchasing policy? The chief is requesting that we approve that.
I've reviewed it and I feel it looks good. If we need to approve it, I'm ready to do so.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Ready to vote.
Okay, sounds good. All right, so I'll move that we approve the purchasing policy presented to us by the chief. So that's my motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Commissioner.
I'll second.
Seconds. All right. Any further discussion? No further discussion. So we'll vote on approval of the purchasing policy. All those in favor of approving it say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
And there's 3 ayes. And so we have approved the purchasing policy 3-0, and I will be signing that, I'm guessing, in the near future. So, all right, sort of a related matter. Our next item on the unfinished business list is the small works roster termination. Chief, did you have any comments on that? And I know that's
Just
our
an
plan.
update. There'll be, we just got busy this month. There'll be a resolution next month in the board packet to terminate the small works roster that we hold, and then as well as join MSRC, which is a much larger conglomerate. They take care of all the legal aspect of it. There will be a resolution to join that as well. And that will kind of take us out of the small works roster business.
And I saw in our packet that was included a frequently asked questions from MRSC.
Yes.
Was there that just for our information?
Just for your information. And they're actually a really good website, just for general. That's what they do is small government, basically, how-tos. They're a really great resource. I use them quite a bit for how to get things done.
Great. Okay, so no action there. We just had an update. Any questions or comments, commissioners? All right. Moving on to the next item. And I guess so the next item on our unfinished business is the Whatcom County Council's resolution 2023-054 and the protest letter that the Whatcom County Fire Commissioners Association drafted and sent. And I'll just segue into, I did attend remotely. I did attend the Whatcom County Fire Commissioners Association meeting last week. I basically just listened in. They didn't really discuss that much, but the copy of the protest letters in our packet, and it did get sent. And as we know, it did not have the desired effect, which I think, a repeal of the county's resolution. If you'll let me, I'll segue into, well, no, we'll do that under new business. That's fine. So, Chief, my recollection from and my notes from that meeting, they didn't really discuss that too much, except for in the guise of including that issue in another letter they've drafted regarding the EMS funding, or so
yes, which I'm just getting caught up on today.
Okay.
I've seen a draft of this.
Okay.
And it doesn't put anything on the commissioners other than the fact that it references that you all sent a letter. Let me double check with the Chiefs Association and see if I can distribute a copy of that draft letter. It's written by Richard Davis, so it's written by an attorney to the county. Let me double check if I can, just so you see what you're being quote unquote looped into.
Well, let me, if the other two commissioners aren't aware, let me just if you'll allow me to deviate a little, I'll outline the issue there, and please correct me if I don't have a good summary here. But like I said, commissioners, the commission didn't, the Commissioners Association didn't really discuss the protest letter, except for in the guise, there's a new problem. The county is apparently trying to monkey with the wording of how we get, is it EMS funding, Chief?
Yes.
And in the view of the fire chiefs and many other people in the fire service, the county has put some wording in there that's not in keeping with the spirit of the original agreement. So the Fire Chiefs Association has drafted a letter basically asking the county to, in good faith, make their policy or whatever they're drafting comport with the original agreement, so that the EMS funding is distributed as everybody agreed. In that draft letter from the Chiefs Association, they also referenced, hey, you've already not communicated with us once with regard to the fire district combination. Basically, here's another example of, you're not really basically dealing with us in good faith, and we ask that you kind of reconsider, is what the letter said in general. So as you heard the chief say, he'll check with the Chiefs Association and see if we can distribute a copy of that letter. There was some talk at the meeting about what role the county commissioner, what the fire commissioners want to play. And I don't think any decision was made. There were kind of two schools of thought. There was a, let's send this letter, let's piggyback on board with what the chiefs are doing. But then there's people negotiating this issue who asked that let's not blow it up just for the sake of one minor wording issue. Let's just work to get that one wording issue changed and move on. So I'm not sure where it's going right now, but there's no immediate role for us to play except I wanted you to be aware that there's another issue with the county that they're kind of working. So, Chief, did I totally hose that up or?
Nope, you summarized it very well.
Okay. All right, great. That was really the only thing. I'll segue, like I said, into I did attend that meeting and I plan to in the future. That was really the only significant thing I wanted to mention to you from the meeting. Sheriff Tanksley was there and basically introduced himself and introduced his new emergency manager, and just basically offered a helping hand and in the spirit of cooperation. So other than that, it was just normal committee reports and things. Questions or comments on any of that? Okay. Great.
Thank you for attending that, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome. And yeah, I need to be doing that as the chairman here. So I plan to in the future unless I cannot. So. Okay, so that brings us to the last item on our unfinished business list, which is the annexation. The chief and I discussed this too. There's really been no information about that at all. As we've noted previously, the city departments are probably all just gathering the data they need to gather at this stage. So I did say in the last meeting that I wanted to send some communication to the city to ask them to keep us in the loop. I haven't done that yet, but I will monitor that issue so that we're in the loop when the time comes for us to be in the loop. Anything else?
I also I just realized this weekend that I've been somewhat remiss in I've not been reading the Bellingham City Council board packets, which I probably need to start doing, and we might be able to glean some info about that, at least as far as timelines when the department heads are making their reports. So I will endeavor to do a better job at that than communicating what I find there.
Likewise. Yeah, I had the same thought for myself. I need to start monitoring those meetings as well as the county council meetings, just at least keeping an eye on the agenda, which okay. I have a couple, and that's it for unfinished business. I have a couple of items that I'd like to do under new business, if you'll bear with me. We talked about one of them already, which was the Whatcom Fire Commissioners meeting. So that's done. Chief, I just noticed there's something from the Department of Ecology in our packet, a water adjudication that's coming up. Can you remind us what that is or let us know what that is?
To be honest with you, I got one at home and here as well.
Okay.
And I've been there's been a couple news outlets that have been trying to describe what that means in English.
Okay.
For us. And I think it's just to let everybody know that they're starting this adjudication process, which nobody that for a layperson, I don't understand what it means.
Okay.
We do have a well at Station 13.
Sorry about that. Hang on.
We do have a well at Station 13, so it's obviously something that we'll have to keep track on, track of, and see if there's anything that that we have to do. But as far as I know, it's just, hey, we're starting this process. Now you all know.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, yeah, a little bit more about what that process is. Basically, if you're not on a public water system, the Department of Ecology is suing you to force you into court to essentially establish your water rights, is essentially what it means. And it's going to be probably a years-long process, but even exempt well users are going to have to go in and prove that you drilled a well and you paid for it and you've been using it to supply your house for the last 20 years, and please let me continue to draw water out of the ground. And then the judge will make a decision on every single one of these cases to establish water rights. And then the Department of Ecology now has a roster of everybody in this region that they're currently doing. They've done it in other regions in the state. And now they're getting to us. And I imagine there'll be some bumps probably along the way, but from my understanding, that's kind of what it amounts to.
Yeah, it's an incredibly long process and will probably take many years. But at some point, we'll probably have to file a claim letter and provide documentation on the well in our district.
Okay. What if we're part of a water association? Is that considered a public public water source or no?
I'm not sure yet. I know the distributions from municipalities like the city of Bellingham aren't going to individuals won't need to go through this, but lesser, smaller distribution systems. I'll probably find out more tomorrow at my water commissioners meeting.
Realized that's where you're getting all this.
Yeah, I had forgotten that too till he spoke up.
So if I have more information, I'll be happy to share it.
Okay, good. And I'm assuming something that the attorney should be made aware of at least.
Yeah, it sounds like I need to make Eric Quinn aware of this, that we're starting to go through this. Maybe, hopefully he'll have some previous experience. I know he works in Pierce County a lot, so. Person, so maybe he's got some.
Okay. That something that you all want me to do to make him aware of, or how should we do that?
I can email him. I'll CC everybody just so you all know.
All right, that'd be great if you don't mind adding that. If that's not too much trouble, just making sure he's aware that we got that correspondence, and and I think that would be wise. Okay. Anything else on that before we move on? So I guess we'll track that issue as it. So yeah, we'll keep that. Let's keep that on the agenda for next week or next month if we could, just to make sure we're tracking that. And then the last thing I wanted to bring up under new business, it's not really new, but it's not on our agenda, and that's the two projects that we're undertaking in District 4, which is the replacement of the fire engine and the upgrading of the exterior of the station buildings. As you know, the fire engine one is pretty straightforward. The chief has a standing committee, and we'll be moving ahead with that. He and I talked about the station, exterior station project a little bit when we met last week. And I just wanted to bring up to you the thought that because this is a big enough project, and because certainly the chief does not have the staff to manage that kind of a project right now, and neither does the district, we might want to consider hiring a project manager. Chief, if you want to, I know that District 21 is considering doing that for one of their major projects. And he and I talked about the fact that if they do that, maybe we can, see how much that costs. But I'm a little concerned that we supervise that project with someone who knows how to do such things. And it's something I think we ought to put on the table and think about spending just a little bit of money to have a project coordinator for that part of what we're going to do for the taxpayers. So, Chief, did I go ahead if you have any comments there?
No, yeah, I'm actually meeting with somebody today, and then another person that's been a project manager tomorrow to kind of go over what are our expectations, what are their expectations, what do salaries. So I'm kind of interviewing them to get an idea of what they do, how much it costs, and how they could assist us, being both districts. And yeah, just someone that knows, understands the prevailing wage, the L&I aspect, the WISHA or the OSHA, and all the things, just so we check all the boxes and make sure that these projects are done right, so that when we get audited, we're not finding out that we forgot to pay some excise tax or prevailing wage, calculate the prevailing wage the correct way. that kind of thing. I just need a little, I need a subject matter expert and a little bit of help. So yes, excuse me, District 21 has already ordered me to go find a project manager for the Station 63 project. And in talking with Commissioner Cooley, we thought maybe that we could take a small portion of that and use it for Station 12 with your approval.
Yeah, so at this point, thank
I
you,
have
Chief.
no idea about the cost at this point. That is something I'll report back to you. I have no clue.
Yeah,
That's part of what today is going to talk to one and find out what they make and how big of a project and those kind of things. So.
great.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Mark.
that thought had never occurred to me. But thinking it through, I think it actually is a really good idea. So thanks for catching that.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Chief, and thank you, Mark. Yeah, so at this point, the chief will just keep us in the loop on what he finds with what he was just saying, talking to prospective project managers. And we have some time, so we can kind of get an idea of how much this would cost, and then, of course, whether we're willing to spend that kind of money. But yeah, the bottom line is that the district and the chief, we need some help in managing that project to make sure, I think, that it gets done properly. So we'll put that on the unfinished business for next month as well, and have some updates there.
I think as well.
I'm sorry, Tim.
I just was saying, I think that's an excellent idea. I support it as well.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. Let's see. I think that's all the unfinished or the new business. Anybody else have any new business they want to add? Okay. Hearing none, we move on to correspondence, and the chief included in our packet today the letter that we sent out to our constituents about the progress we've made with the funds they have authorized for us. Did the other commissioners get those at their residence? Okay, I did. I see Mark nodding. So, Tim, I know you're mobile, so your connection's probably a little iffy. So, okay, great.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can hear you, but I'm not able to see it.
No problem. Okay, with that brings us to the next meeting is scheduled for June 17th. I believe I'm available. Everybody else going to be available, at least as far as you know at this point?
I will.
Sorry, that was a little broken.
Tim will be available.
Okay, I think I'd heard Tim say he was going to be available.
Yeah, he decided to go swimming.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should work for me too.
Okay, great. All right, any other, I've added a couple for the agenda next time, at least for unfinished business. Any other items you'd like us to add for next month's meeting at this point? Okay, great. All right, everybody, remember, as you're able to head down the hill, or that, at least for me, it's heading down the hill to sign the documents. And with that, we are adjourned.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you all.
Hope you feel better,
Great day.
Jason.
Thank you.
Yeah, feel better, Chief.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Thanks again, Chief.
Thank you.